Hello everybody, I'm Pearl.
And I'm Bob.
And we are just passing through.
And this is our next exit.
Come and join us.
And you would be joining us at Orlando RV Park.
Thank goodness.
Not in Lazydays Service Base.
Phew! Had enough of that.
Had enough of that. 3 weeks to the day we were in Lazydays at Tampa. And we had a number of issues, some of them that we had to get taken care of, and some of them were things that we just kind of wanted to get taken care of. And this is kind of a synopsis. We have a part one. I'll put a link up there, and then we have a part two that you can get. And they'll also be at the end of the video if you want to watch those. But it did not turn out anything like we hoped it would.
True.
At all.
No. We anticipated maybe a week at the most.
We actually left all of our stuff here in the campground because we thought we'd be back in just a few days.
Right.
And we had another week reservations here left that we thought we'd get back to. Well, we didn't. We finally come back and got our stuff, loaded it in the car. So the car was jam-packed, the coach is jam-packed, and we're living in the coach in the service base.
Right.
For 3 weeks.
That's living in it and at nighttime. During the day, we had to be out.
I've not heard of any other RV shop letting you do this, but at Lazydays, when you call to make your service appointment, they ask you, are you going to be living in your coach or are you going to drop it off? And so we said, well, we want to live in it. We was afraid we'd have to be in a hotel room. They said, no, that's fine, you can stay in it. So that was great. We get to keep our stuff, got a place for the dog. It just works out good. And as they move you from one bay to the next, you may be in this bay today and another bay the next day.
Exactly.
And the bays are pretty good because you have electricity and water, and in some of them, they'll let you hook up with sewer. In fact, our technician, they told us specifically we wouldn't have any sewer. But our technician let us hook up in the service bay. Every time we were in his bay, he would hook our sewer up. And he would let us come in early. They say you can't come in until 6:30 when everybody's gone. You have to be gone before 7. And he would say, no, I won't be here till 7 or 7:30. You don't have to leave that early. And he'd let us get in. If he wasn't working inside, he'd let us come in early at 5 or quarter to 5. So we ended up really liking him. Frank's his name. We gave him a $100 tip, close to the
7:30 in the morning was when we had to be out, according to Frank.
7. Oh, for his schedule, yeah.
For his schedule.
Should we come back?
And then he let us come in around 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Cool. See
On
ya.
several days,
Thanks.
not all of them.
On several days, on his schedule.
And so we really liked him. And he would always stop if we was walking by. Every couple of hours, I'd walk by to see what they were doing. He would stop what he was doing and come out and talk to me. They didn't want you inside the bays, but the tech would come out and tell me what's going on, and was really helpful. And so we gave him a $100 tip whenever he kind of finished up, and just asked him to take his wife out to dinner, that he had really made our stay so much more better. He said, no, it's not necessary. You don't need to give me anything. He said, well, just take your wife out to dinner because you have really been nice to us and we appreciate it. That may or may not been a good thing to do, as it turned out. Okay, let's jump right into it. This is what we've been waiting for, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have been waiting for. What did this experience cost? There's 3 big parts to our Lazydays experience. We got the good, we got the bad, and we got the ugly. And the good was pretty good, and the bad was pretty bad, and the ugly totally unacceptable. But let's start with the cost. As you remember, we had a group of services that they lumped together an estimate that was $6,100. And one of those was a turbo exhaust pipe. They replaced that on the invoice. That cost us $982, so it was real close to the estimate. But the new exhaust, it looked like the new exhaust pipe maybe wasn't put on exactly where the old one did, and it may not have had a good connection. So I sent a picture. So you notice here in the this video, the new exhaust pipe wasn't mounted exactly how the old one was. I wasn't comfortable with that. I took a picture. I sent it to a Cummins technician that I know, and he said that looked like that would be fine. There's probably plenty of meat there for that to hold solid, but to look for black exhaust smoke stains on that exhaust showing you that it's leaking, and if it is, then it needs to be addressed, but it's probably good. But he said it looks like they used the same bracket over, and he said that's a no-no. You need a new bracket, especially with new bolts, because when they torque that down, it stretches that bolt, and when you put it back on, you can't torque it down again and stretch that bolt. It weakens it. You need new bolts and new bracket. So he was concerned about that, and I was charged for a new bracket on the invoice, so that was a bit of a concern. The roof reseal states right on the bill, roof clean and reseal special. And then they have a correction. It says clean and scrape roof and reseal. Check OK. They used 20, I guess, tubes of Dicor for $112 and labor $1,200. They did take off some of the old Dicor because I watched him taking it off, but around the air vents in the coach, that Dicor was not taken off. And you see here in the video, it looks like it wasn't even cleaned good, but they didn't even cover up the old Dicor, and the old Dicor's got some hairline cracks in it, you can see, and that's where it was leaking. Saturday night, they're closed on Sunday. Saturday night, it rained, and Sunday we had water in our bathroom. I took out the skylight and the roof vent trying to find the water leak, got up on the roof. I found some water up in the ceiling, got up on the roof, and you could see these hairline cracks. That is ugly. That's a bad, because we found it the first time that was bad. And it may move into the ugly category here in a minute. The main slide, 792, they replaced that motor. It doesn't work any better. I guess it didn't hurt to replace that motor. I've got the old one. I'll probably sell it if somebody wants it. But it doesn't move any faster. It doesn't do any better. So I'm just not sure what the deal is on that slide. But it hasn't stuck. It did stick every now and then before, and it hadn't stuck. And we probably moved in and out 20 times since that motor's been replaced. So it hasn't stuck, and it hadn't made any popping noises. So it is better. The bedroom slide, this is another good. They put a new motor in the bedroom slide. It wouldn't go out before on its own. Pearl would push a button and I'd go back and push on it every time for the last 6 months to push it out. It'd come in fine, but it wouldn't go out. A new motor fixed that problem. So that was definitely a good. Another good, the kitchen slide, I told them I didn't think that it was a motor. They told me all 3 slides needed a new motor. I talked to the technician. He said, I've never even looked at the kitchen slide. I didn't know anything was wrong with it. Part of the service package was cleaning and lubricating the slide and the seals and stuff. And once he did that, the kitchen slide works just fine. So that's savings there. They didn't charge us anything for that because it was included in the service package. So that's a good. Definitely falls in the good. Generator water tank. I had noticed that I was leaking antifreeze occasionally with the generator, and that was included in that $6,100. He found that during the inspection, so that was good. Backup light, $106. They told me it was going to cost $80, I think, for that backup light to replace, because they had to remove some stuff to get to the actual light. Seemed expensive for a backup light, but that's what that is. So adding all of these up, that comes to $4,300 compared to $61. So that there's some savings there. The Platinum Service Package, as you can see here on the website, it says that Platinum Package is $2,700 and something. On the website, it says plain that the Platinum Service Package is $2,752. I asked them, why are you charging me? They told me $2,300. One time they told me $2,400. I asked them, why are you charging me $2,300 or $2,400? They didn't have an answer. They didn't know why. But in that service package, it has a big list of items to be done. These several items fall into the bad. Aqua Hot's supposed to be serviced. It was not serviced. You can see clearly after they done with everything, I went and checked. Still had the old fuel filter where I had serviced it last time in 2017. So it obviously hadn't been done. The tire pressure was not brought up to, it says they bring all your tires up to the level on that it says on the placard where the air pressure needs to be. On our steer tires, I want it to be at 115, but my own board compressor, I can only get it up to 110. So I was looking forward to getting it raised back up to 115. It wasn't changed. It was exactly the same air pressure as when I brought it in. So that was bad. The air system was not serviced. On the Platinum service, it says the air system will be serviced. The chassis shop, I talked to them, they said they will service it because it takes about 10 minutes to air it up. Sometimes longer than that in the mornings. And the chassis shop says, yeah, that just needs to be serviced. We can take care of that real easy. Never done. My oil drain plug, I use a Fomoto valve so that it has an on and off lever on it, so you can drain a gallon and turn it off, get another gallon bucket, turn it back on, drain another gallon. That way you can drain it in a campsite without making a mess. I put those on both of my Class A's. They took that valve out and kept it. They put a new valve, drain plug valve, in there and charged me $25 for it. That's a bad there. And the RV chassis was not lubricated at all. I got under there, I found several. Every grease cert I checked had road grime on it. There had been no grease pumped through that cert in any recent time. So I know it was not greased. I went in on Monday, I took pictures of all these items. I gave them to the service advisors. I told them I still plan on leaving Tuesday or Wednesday. Either do these things or deduct them from my bill. One of the two, I don't really care. All of these things, but I want my Fomoto valve back. And all of these things I can do myself, but adjust on the bill. And so my service advisor went and talked to the shop manager, and they did get the Aqua Hot service. They brought the tire pressures up. They still didn't service the air system. I still didn't get my Fomoto valve back. And the RV chassis still wasn't lubricated. Once I got to Orlando, I went back under and checked. They're still not lubricated. I did find some certs with some grease on them, but that looked more like it was grease from when I greased it last time, about a year ago. Those are the ugly. Never servicing, never greasing the chassis. Even after I took it back and told them it hadn't been done. And they didn't take any money off either. The windshield deductible, that's pretty much $1,000 no matter what. The leveling system, that's $446. That's for the two air solenoid valves that they replaced. They ordered from Canada. I paid $80 to have them overnighted. Ordered it on Monday. They installed them on Friday. They said it took 2 or 3 days in customs. Whatever. And they wanted $600 plus shipping. $675. Lazydays wanted $675 plus shipping and tax to replace the touch valve. And I told them, I said, if you can get it here so I can leave Tuesday or Wednesday, that's fine. Get me a new one. If not, put my old one back in. Or they had put one in they borrowed, some shop tech had that wasn't for my coach, but it was similar. And it worked better with that used one in it. I said, I don't care, just have one of those, either my old one, this here used one, or get me a new one if you can get it here before I leave Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh yeah?
They never got a new one, so when I left on Wednesday, it had that used one in it that they'd used to test with. When I got to Orlando, I called Valid on Thursday, I believe it was, and asked them about the touchpad. They had it. It was a little over $500, $80 shipping, and they said I'll get it in 24 hours. Ordered it on Thursday. I had it installed by Friday at noon, and it worked perfect. The coach leveling system seems to be solved. Here on the estimate side, it included that touchpad and everything. So if I added that in here, that would take it up to $1,000. So that would be right on. Nothing was ever done on the air system. The rear slide, the seal, one of the seals was torn loose. They replaced all of that. That was $287. That looks great. And in part of the service package, they serviced all the seals on the slides. All the seals on the slides looked like new. They did that was a great job. So that was another good. And the skylight, $334. That seems a little bit excessive, but that's installed. But that's resolved. So out the door, I paid them $8,696. Their bid was $10,500. Now this $896, you really need to add that $600 almost for the touchpad. So it'd take it up to around $9,500 to give a apples and apples comparison. $9,500 what I paid Lazydays plus what I paid the Valid to get that new touchpad compared to $10,500. So it was $1,000 less than they charged. So that was, and that's the number I asked you guys to give. Nobody guessed $1,000 under. In addition to that, there was $1,015 for tax, freight, supplies, and some $250 for something they called other, and I couldn't find that anywhere. So there you go. That's our expenses. That's the good and the bad, and they're unacceptable, totally unacceptable. It's how they never greased our chassis, never told us about they didn't grease the chassis. And that roof sealing, it still is an unacceptable job. It is not leaking. They put it in a rain bay and rained water down on it for an hour, and it's not leaking anywhere. But it is not. The old die-core has not been removed. Some of the corners and edges around the skylights are not sealed up all the way. It's not leaking, so I'm not going to do anything to it for a while, but it's just not acceptable. So that being said, we didn't go to Lazydays to save money. We knew it was going to be an expensive place to go. There was a number of comments down below about, maybe we're just stupid old people and don't know better, and just a lot of negative comments or derogatory comments. That's probably true. I'm not the sharpest knife in the cabinet. I got an idea what I want and an idea how it should work. But we went to what we thought was a good place that we were going to pay top dollar probably, but we was going to get stuff fixed. We didn't get stuff fixed, and they actually, deceptive may not be the right word, but they were incompetent in taking care of some of the items. Some of the items they flat didn't do, and some of the items, like our grease certs, the roof sealing, some of it was they didn't do, and then some of it they just did poorly. I don't think that I think they have plenty of experts and professionals and tools there, but I think they also have a mechanics training course there on site, and they have 2 or 3 bays dedicated to teaching people how to be mechanics. And I think maybe we had some of those recent graduates or on the job training guys.
Training.
So to be honest, unless I had to and didn't have another choice, I would say no. We would not take our coach back to Lazydays for an oil change, for a grease job, for a roof reseal. We would not go back unless there was no other option. Can they do it? Yeah. But they take too long, and there's a little deception. I think the biggest problem is everybody there tries to do their job, but you take it into a bay, they don't have parts for everything that goes wrong in the hundreds of different makes and models. So you go in the bay, they check it out, and they say, we need this part, we got to order it. So now you go back out in the lot, and somebody else comes in. They've always got 5 fires going on, and everybody wants to be taken care of today. Everybody wants to be at the front of the list. And while you're there in the office or you're there in the bay, they kind of take care of you and they give you a good feeling. But boy, once you get sent back out to the parking lot, you're forgotten about. You're gone until something triggers it and they say, oh, we got this part. Where's this coach this part's supposed to go on to? You're on the B list real quick. So they're just too big. There's too much going on, and they don't have that part of the, in our opinion, they don't have that part of the formula figured out, how to keep all the loose ends.
And you feel like you've fallen through the cracks.
Yeah, and you have. I think a lot of people fall through the cracks. But so from the mechanical side, no, I don't think we'd go back. What's your thought?
The service part of it, I'm definitely going to leave up to Bob. But for me, the convenience of being able to stay in your coach after hours, the areas that we were able to stay inside the building, that was nice. The restaurant area where we could get food for lunch, breakfast and lunch, that was a convenience. It was an okay experience. It just drug out a little bit longer than I wanted, and I want my coach fixed.
So I don't know if that helped you or not. We're giving you a plus and some minuses. I think there's definitely some issues. I don't think we'll ever be back to Lazydays. I agree with Pearl that if they had a good system and and you could get, even though it's more expensive, an expensive place, if the work was done right, I think we would go back, because a lot of the accessories, they do a lot of things right that I think a lot of shops, they just say drop it off, go away, we'll let you know when to come back.
Right.
So for us, Lazydays, thumbs up or thumbs down? Our experience is thumbs down. Thank you guys for watching. If you thinking about retiring or thinking about the RV lifestyle, you're a senior couple, think about subscribing to our channel. That's what information we try to put out, is retirement and the RV lifestyle.
So keep the wheels rolling, stay safe.
We'll see you at the next exit.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, folks.